So the next section of the story really was that I had another possible interview to go to as well, but I decided to go to the other one because it was a timed interview first, and I didn't make it there because I hadn't ridden that bus in a long time, so I thought I knew it was going. I thought I was going to Coconut Creek, but I thought Coconut Creek was Cypress Creek, but it's not. And I forgot that McNabb turns into Cypress Creek, so I kind of got turned around. So I didn't make that interview, but I got off the bus and I was angry and happy at the same time. I was angry about the the exchange. I was disappointed by it, and I was happy that there was a young black man that actually had my, was in my corner, and that was mature and that, tried to make me smile and get me out of that situation. So I gave so much love to him and his parents and whatever made him cool like that because I needed it. Um, Furthermore, I got off the bus and I'm just like, okay, I don't even know which way Cypress Creek is. I haven't been down here in so long, So I'm like, which way is Cypress Creek? So I asked somebody on the street. They don't know. I asked a whole bus stop full of people. Nobody knew where Cypress Creek was. And the reason why is because where I was at, Cypress Creek is not Cypress Creek. Cypress Creek is McNabb. So, I'm walking down the street and I'm kind of lost because you know how the feeling is when you're already mad. I missed my appointment. It's raining outside. My hair is frizzy. I got this big old bag, and I don't know which way I'm going. And I spent my last $4 to go on this interview, and I'm not very happy. So I stop into a drugstore, and I ask which way is Cypress Creek. The cashier doesn't know. The little girl, the young teenage girl, doesn't know. So she asks her mom. Her mom doesn't speak English, but she tells me, and she's assuming that I drive, but I don't. And so I'm just like, I'll just start walking in that direction. And I start walking. I'm like, oh Lord, this can be like miles and miles. So I see like a little community shuttle, wave the shuttle down, and I asked him, does he go to Cypress Creek? He's like, no. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna go wherever you're going. So, because I just wanted to get the hell away from all that negative energy that I felt. So I got on the shuttle, and so you could feel the frustration coming off of me. It was just such negative energy coming off of me because I was upset, and I was just like, so, do you have a bus schedule? No, I don't have a bus schedule. Do you go to any major bus stops? No, I don't go to any major bus stops. Do you go? And I'm all tense, and I'm like asking questions, and then finally I stopped because I'm like, with the tone of voice that I have right now and the presence that I'm giving, is rubbing off. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't want like another bad argument or a bad day. So I just don't ask anything else. I'm just riding now. And so finally, I asked him, I said, do you go to they have this new thing called the Pompano City Center or something, I don't know. And I asked him if he goes there, and he's like, no. And then he's like, where are you going? And I was like, well, I wanted to go to Cypress Creek, and he was telling me all these different ways I could go, and basically I needed to go back where I was. And so I was just like, he was like, where are you going? I was like, I forgot what he asked me, but I was just being vague about it. I was like, I'm going to go, I'm supposed to meet somebody there. And he was just like, what time are you supposed to meet him? I was like, 3 o'clock. And he was like, oh, you're not going to make it. And I was like, thanks. I was like, I know, you know. And he's just like, well, and then it got quiet, and I'm so frustrated. You could feel the steam coming off of me. So, I'm like, this man is not the enemy, and I don't want him to think that I feel that way about him. So I was just like, well, maybe that's just God's way of, that's God's trying to show me something, which he was, and I felt at that moment that he was, because he wanted me to have that interaction on that previous bus, because as soon as it happened, I saw it coming, because I remembered the last job that I was at, and I was on the phone, and the guy was just yelling, like, I was just like, yo, I'm on the phone, this person is trying to hear what I'm saying. I'm trying to hear what they're saying. They're giving me information. And and then I couldn't say anything then because I was on the phone. But after I got off, I went to him. I was like, do you mind if I just need two things I have to say to you. He would not let me say them. He's like, you don't listen. I was like, no, I came to you because I needed to say something to you. I'm asking you to listen. It's just two small things. And he did the same thing the other person did. He would jump in and say, he turned it around on me, you don't listen. You don't. I was like, I'm listening to what you were saying. And I was on the phone and I heard what you were saying. But now I have something to say to you, so I came to you, and I'd like for you to listen to me. And that's what it is. And I think he knew what I was going to say. He didn't want to hear it, and so he just talked over me the whole time, saying the same thing. And in order to make the situation light, I didn't say anything else. I didn't respond to it. But I felt, like I needed to vent, and I felt like, the people at the job was good. So the person at the front desk, I was just like, oh my gosh, no, I don't need to be, because then, it was so much that was going on in the background. Somebody saying I was being rude, this, that, and the other. I was on the phone, and I'm just like, wow, and she was like, you were being rude. He was trying to give you the paper, and you pulled yours out of your desk. Well, how is that being rude? If I'm prepared and I have my stuff in my desk, why would I not use it? He interrupted my phone call, giving me things that I don't need, and I wasn't rude about it at all. I just used mine. Just the fact that I used my own paper that I had prepared is being rude. That's crazy. But it's not rude for him to yell while I'm on the phone. It's not rude for him to continuously put stuff on my desk that I don't need because I already have when I'm on the phone. Do you really have to feel that important about yourself? You should be happy that someone's prepared. So anyhow, purpose of this part. What was the purpose of this section? Um, oh, to tell about my journey after that incident, and how that energy carried with me to on to the next bus. But I recognized it immediately, and I thwarted it. And I was just like, yeah, God must not have wanted me to go there. He was like, yeah, you're right. And then he eventually told me about this Bible verse, Hebrew 1. We don't do angels and all this anymore. He was saying because God speaks to us directly. And I think that's true. God speaks to us directly, but he also lives in each of us. And I think it's a representation when you see something positive. And so he told me Hebrew 1, and I read that. And then there was a lot of other things that were said about how the Old Testament is shown, the New Testament is revealed. The Old Testament like prophesies the New Testament, and the New Testament reveals it. I forgot what he said. It's all jotted down. When I go into my religious portion where I'm getting into my tarot stuff and all the notes and stuff that I took on this journey through life that I had today, I'll share it. But it was just very interesting. It was very in the midst of that, I didn't realize, I was so frustrated. There was a white lady on the bus, and I think she understood how frustrated I was. And it's like I just kind of just let it all go, and it was just like, and when I cried, I'm like, ooh, I'm not like crying like that. It's just like a release of seeing like a teardrop down my face. And so that was great. And then I was just like, at this point, I'll just go home. And the guy was just like, well, you can get off at such and such. And I didn't know where it was. I wasn't trying to find out where it is. At this point, I just, I'm going to try to make it to that other place to interview. So that's that section of the story.